Hi, Gene Monterastelli here, the editor of tappingqa.com. The video that you are about to watch is a conversation that was a part of this year's 24 Hours of Tapping. The 24 Hours of Tapping is a fundraiser for the amazing work that is done by the Peaceful Heart Network. The Peaceful Heart Network has brought tapping to migrants, refugees, prisoners, and the underprivileged in over 30 countries all over the world. As you watch this video, if you learned something, if you were touched by it, if you were inspired by it, the easiest way to say thank you is to support the work of the Peaceful Heart Network. To do that, all you need to do is go to 24hoursoftapping.com/support. And as you look in the description and the first comment down below, you will see a direct link to that. I hope you enjoy this conversation.
And I'm very excited now to introduce my next guest. So we have with us live in Australia, although you'll notice she hasn't got my accent, Naomi Janzen. Naomi is an accredited master EFT trainer and mentor for evidence-based EFT and EFT International. She works with clients all around the world in her private practice, runs trainings in Australia and the US. In addition to practicing and training, she furthers the cause of tapping with mindfulness and meditation through a number of channels. She's the creator of Remindfulness, an app listed in the 2017 top 10 apps for mindfulness. And she is the writer and co-producer of the documentary, The Science of Tapping. And if you haven't checked that one out, you should absolutely go and get a copy. So welcome to the stage, Naomi. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much.
Naomi and I know each other well and talk weekly, so you'll probably notice that. But I'm very excited to talk about this topic today, which is...
We haven't spoken about this.
Yes. Can you really change reality with tapping? And we are going to do some tapping, so that's
Yes.
very exciting for me.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
you answer that question first. Yes.
So there's objective reality and subjective reality, right? And in the news recently, there's been talk about, the potential for changing objective reality with tapping. We can change our subjective reality because we can change how we feel about things. We can change we can change our perspective, what's true for us, etc. But a couple of things I had one particular experience that was kind of made me wonder about what our ability to actually kind of change more than just sort of our perception of things, which I'll tell you in a second. I've never told anybody publicly before, but I've got a book coming out that's going to have this in it. So I'll tell it. But first I'll tell you, and I'm sure, Peter, you've heard about the hotel maids in New York and the exercise imagined. Okay. So I'll just briefly
tell our audience. Yes.
Yeah. So in 2007, a study was done took a group of 88 New York hotel maids and divided them in half. And they said they wanted to do a study about how to lose weight from doing exercise. And they told half the maids that they were already doing enough because making beds and cleaning rooms and everything, you're already doing plenty. You're going to lose all kinds of weight. Yeah, just from what you're doing. So we'll get back to you later. And then they took the group the other half of the group, and they said, we'll get back to you. We're going to come up with an exercise plan to help you lose weight. So of course, everybody was weighed at the beginning. 3 months later, they just went and weighed everybody again. And the group that had been told that what they were doing was already good enough to make them lose weight had lost, I think it's on average, 10 pounds, I think. 2 pounds. Their systolic blood pressure dropped, and they were significantly healthier by all measures. So that's the hotel maid. So that's sort of just think that the placebo effect. This is often given as an example of the placebo effect. And then the exercise study that was done, there have been multiple ones, but this was the finger exercise study done in 2004, where they found that they took a group of people that they gave finger exercises to, another group they gave them the exercises, but they said, we don't want you to do them. We want you to imagine that you're doing them. And then the third control group did nothing. And the group that had done the finger exercises, who'd actually done it, had increased their finger strength by 53%. The group that had not done anything, 0, no change. And the group that had just imagined it, 35%.
Wow.
This is big. Okay. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the fact, there's that statement, you are what you eat.
Yeah.
And we all know that there's so much, and this especially in as a health psychologist, so much conflicting. I've had clients come to me and just say, I need to tap on how I don't know what to eat because I'm keeping up on everything and there's literally nothing I can eat. Like plants want to kill me, all this different stuff. So I started thinking, maybe it's more you are what you think you're eating. And okay, so park that here. So then I had an experience in 2007 before I learned tapping, when I was in my depression that drove me to learn about tapping, where I was in a living situation that was untenable, but I couldn't do anything about it. So I just wanted to give myself a bit of physical relief from the grinding pain, depression, et cetera. So I thought, I'm going to just lie down on the bed and imagine that I have won a lottery. So I can just go and buy a house right now and move in like 2 days. And it was just to make myself feel better. And I lay down and I thought, okay, what experience would I have? And this is going to be relevant later when we talk about how to do this. What experience would I have if I'd won a lottery? Because Australia, lottery is a big thing. I hadn't been a massive thing over in America, but it's all in your face everywhere here. And I thought, okay, let's imagine I've won $12 million. So I imagined my online bank account, which was kind of a new thing too in Australia, how online everything was. And I was looking at the bank account. I imagined $12 million in the amount. And then I kind of was like, it wouldn't be 12 because there would be tax taken out, which I didn't know they didn't do here. So I had
winning.
What was that?
Not if you win it.
They do in the States. Okay. So I just dropped it down to 8 million and I felt this weird shimmer go through my whole body. And first of all, I was just lying there, just feeling blissful, like, oh, I can buy something. I can just go pay cash. I don't have to go through, like I was trying to go through this rental process with these 2 dogs and it was a nightmare. And I was just basking in the relief of like, I can get myself out of the situation. It's going to be so good. And then suddenly a stream of numbers came streaming into my head.
Oh, don't. I don't know this story, but I
have not told this publicly. And I'm not a big fan of numbers because I'm not good at making them add up. So calculators, et cetera, math trauma, we'll talk. But I thought that's weird. And then I thought I should write these down. And I had my journal because, whinging about my situation a lot. So my journal was right there. And by the time I wrote them down, it was 7, 9, 12, 14, 24. And then there was a 30 number and a 40 number. So by the time I wrote it down, I was unclear on the 30 number, 40 number. So I just went 33, 44, whatever. Tore off the piece of paper, stuck it in my wallet, had no idea what this was about. Went back to being depressed. The next day I was walking and I saw this poster, $12 million lotto. And I looked and I went, oh, that's a coincidence, $12 million. And it was tonight, the Tuesday night lotto here in Australia for the Australians watching. And I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. So I bought a lotto ticket. I filled in the numbers, 1 ticket, because I felt like an idiot. I've heard lotto described as a tax on stupidity. I like a good turn of phrase, so that had stuck in my mind. So I filled in the lotto ticket and I turned it, and I handed it in that night, after another day of trying to find somewhere to live and on and on. But about 8:40 at night, I was just like, okay, I'm exhausted. I've done everything I can. I've filled out all these applications. Oh, I bet they've had that draw by now. I bet it's, and I'm sure enough, online, went, looked, the numbers, took my little highlighter. These were the numbers in order: 7, 9, 12, 14, 24, 34, 43. So now, you talk of goosebumps. My body, like the feeling that came over my body, is like every lotto winner I ever hear about. I know what you were thinking. As you hit the numbers, at first it's like, oh, that's a coincidence. Second one, 2 in a row, 3 in a row. And then you start getting a little concerned when you get down to 4. And then 5, it was this feeling of cold, just reality change went through my whole body. Anyway, I got 5 out of the 7, so I won like $80. If I had gotten 6, it would have been 250,000, and it would have been 12 million if I'd gotten all 7 numbers. I've told this story to friends, obviously, over the years, and I've been told, why didn't you buy so many tickets and all different? It's like, I didn't know that I had lotto numbers stream into my head. I didn't know that. Okay, so we live in a weird world. And we know that our perception is really important. So potentially, our perception can change reality in some meaningful ways for us. Okay, so that was the premise of this whole thing. I decided to try an experiment because I like to make up my own experiments. They're not like official and they're probably not well done like yours, but I called it the Reality Hack Diet Experiment. And I conscripted a bunch of students and of mine and said, who wants to give this a try? I think we had 12 people. And what I said is, we're going to use a modified form of choices tapping, which is Dr. Pat Carrington's choices method. We're going to do a modified form of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the premise that the reason, like do it with diet, weight, whatever you want it to be, where you're up against certain realities. You can't do anything about them. So you're trying to kind of use tapping or whatever to kind of get yourself to over those hurdles and so on. Let's try a different approach. Let's change that reality. So, for example, somebody who, they eat too much sugar. What happens if you tell your body that you metabolize sugar so fast it just goes and it's actually making you healthy? Like, what if you literally flip the script?
Okay.
So, yeah, I know you're thinking dangerous, but you know what?
I'm thinking clinical trial.
Oh, really? Well, because you know what? Yeah. Every time I think something like this, I go, hey, Pete, I want to do a clinical trial. Will you be my personal clinical trialer on this? So what I did was I made some rules and I gave everyone sort of the instructions, which I've got a little booklet and we're going to go through it in this here. And I said, I want you to do this for 15 minutes every day. I want you to do it for 12 weeks. And I don't want you to change anything else about your diet. Don't change anything. I just want to see, what the results are from doing this. And I was doing it myself. And and the experience, first of all, after about a month, maybe 5 weeks, 6 weeks, halfway through, suddenly I just got this overwhelming desire to kind of eat this particular way. I just didn't want to eat carbs anymore. I just want to eat vegetables and protein. That's all I wanted to eat. And I thought, I can't do this because I told everybody we're all doing it together. We're not allowed to change anything. And I was like, well, I'll probably fall off the wagon after a couple of days. So I'm just going to do it anyway. So I stayed on it and it was like the way I was eating now. And finally I thought, this is dishonest. I have to be honest. So we had a special Facebook group and I posted and I said, hey, everybody, I have to come clean. I've done this. And everybody else had done the same thing. But what had happened is people who had been thinking about being a vegan for years had suddenly become a vegan. People who had been thinking about eliminating a certain craving had suddenly eliminated it, and so on and so forth. But also everybody else had the same experience, whereas for the first week, it was a party. They were I was eating banana splits and cake, and someone else was like lasagna every day for a week. And the joy, they said they felt so much joy because they were tapping on, this can't hurt me. This is amazing. I feel fabulous. This is good for me. And so it was interesting because that little fiesta everybody had only lasted about a week, even though they were still doing the same tapping. And then it was like, right, party's over. I kind of want to just be healthier. So this deeper kind of reality kicked in.
Mm.
So, having said all of that, I'll tell you what. So I've taken it and I've given it to people who don't want to just do it with food, but just anything. So to kind of show everybody how it works,
Yes, and I know everyone listening is going to go, I need to know what to do. Like what?
Okay.
So I'm going to be a guinea pig.
Okay. So, and everybody watching this, watching the recording, watching live, whatever, this is what you do. There are certain steps. And the very first step is come up with what's your goal? What's that thing you want? So what is something that you wish you had a magic wand and you can just go ding, reality? And it's got to be about yourself. It can't be like, I want world peace, because as Pat Carrington originally talked about with choices tapping, it has to be, you have to focus your choice on yourself. So your own reality. So Peter, I gave you a little bit of a heads up ahead of time. So maybe you've come up with something that's tappable.
Yeah, I was having to think, what is something that, maybe I haven't tapped on, and, change is great. If not, oh well. But I had one. So what would I like to be different? I would like to be lucky. So do you want it phrased that way? As in, I don't think I'm a lucky person. Yeah.
Okay. So you think the good things that come only ever come from really hard work?
Yeah, it may not be hard work. It could be, so I don't always have the hard work bit, but wouldn't think of it as luck.
Okay. So what would it look like if you were lucky?
I would probably win things, like you said.
So were you a bit triggered by that lotto story?
No, I thought that was fabulous. I was like, oh, I want to know more. This was
perfect. You're my perfect subject. So, okay. So winning lotto, for example. So if you say, if I was lucky, I would win lotto. So this is a perfect example.
Probably, yeah.
So what you do is you create the setup statement in choices tapping. What you do is the setup statement is, even though and then you state your current reality. Yeah. And then you have, I choose, and then you have that goal. Right. So let's start with the choice. So the choice would be to win lotto.
Yeah, let's use that one. Yep. Win anything. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay, there you go. So rule number 1, make it specific. Okay. So pick something. Lotto.
Yeah, let's just state lotto. That's common. Everyone knows. Yep, lotto.
Why don't you pick an amount?
Okay, 5 million came in. I'll just go with that into my mind.
All right. And what is which lotto are you playing?
Oz Lotto just came into my mind. So that's Tuesday Lotto, probably what you said. Yeah.
Tuesday Lotto. Okay. See how we're being specific. Very important with goal setting. Now, what is an experience that you could only have if you won that $5 million Tuesday Oz Lotto?
That I could only have?
Yeah. What experience could you only have if you won that lotto? So reminding you of when I did that visualization, I could only have the experience of logging onto my online banking and seeing $8 million if I had won the 12 in my mind.
Yeah. And so that to me would be quite a tangible thing, that the only way I could probably see 5 million sitting in there is if I won lotto at this point in my life. So, I don't have any other way that I think I would see 5 million sitting in there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So now imagine you're seeing that. What's the emotion you're feeling?
Joy, but relief.
Okay. Right. So take a moment and just imagine that. And can you feel pulled towards it? Like, is there a visceral pull? Like, you're looking online, I feel joy and relief because I'm seeing 5 million in my online banking from the Oz Lotto win. You feel it. So you want, so you want to craft it so that you go, yes, that would be so good. That would be great. I would feel so lucky. I would feel so good. Okay. So that's the aspirational part of the statement. Mm-hmm. Then we have the current reality. So you said, I'm not lucky. Mm-hmm. Okay. So is there an example of, can you give a little bit more embellishment? Because you want to feel triggered by that statement. So it could be enough that you just say, even though I'm just not lucky, maybe even though everyone else in my family is lucky, but I'm not, or even though no matter what I do, I'm not lucky, or I'm not lucky because I never win anything. How would you phrase it to kind of?
How would I say? Yes. So there's definitely a belief that the family's not lucky, that no one has that as a pattern or a theme. So the family, even though they might, I don't know, buy a lotto ticket or a raffle ticket or whatever. Yeah, so I have a memory. So I have a memory of when I won something when I was like 10. And I'll just tell you if it's relevant. So Mum must have just bought raffle tickets for all the kids in the local pharmacy Easter egg basket, and we all got our own little ticket. And my ticket won. So even though obviously she'd bought the ticket. So all I remember is the washing basket came home and the whole thing was filled with chocolate Easter eggs and all chocolate. It was like enormous, and I'd won it. But what happened was my mother, rightly so, went, "You're going to be sick if you eat all that chocolate." So she shared it with all the neighbourhood.
Okay. When
I
you think
feel my heart pounding as I tell you this. And even though I logically can look back and go, yes, I probably would have been sick, and I actually don't even eat that much chocolate in my life. There must have been in that moment some, apart from the family theme, that obviously my mother was, being generous with my gift.
Yes. Okay. And the fact that you feel kind of triggered when you think about that is perfect, because that's what we want the statement of reality part to be. Okay. Right. So we've got this. So we've got that memory and connected to this belief, I'm not lucky around what happened, which makes you feel, And then when you think about looking online and you've won $5 million, it's like this, yes. Okay, so those are the two things that have to be in place. There has to be a and a of some kind, okay? Right.
Good.
And we're gonna do some tapping on this, but I also want to just talk about the framework. So Pat Carrington's choices method is basically the setup statement 3 times with, even though I have this current reality, I choose this ideal alternative.
Right.
Okay. And you do it 3 times. And then you tap the negative. You say, this current reality, 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 current reality, current reality, current reality. Then you say, I choose this positive alternative. I choose this positive. I choose the positive. I choose this positive. I choose this positive. Then you alternate current reality. I choose this positive, amazing alternative. Current reality, that's a bummer. I choose this positive, current reality, positive. And then you end on a positive. So that's choices tapping. So my modification is that, aside from the fact that we're going for trying to really change a reality, change something that you don't think you can change because it feels like it's a universal truth. That's what we want to aim for, is universal truths with this reality hack tapping. The second thing is that we kind of sneak up on that part of us that goes, I can't choose that. That's a universal truth. So the way we do it is we do sets. The first set is, even though I have this current reality, what if I could choose this alternative that's awesome? Okay. Yeah. And you do 1 round through all of that. Then the next one you do is, even though I have this bummer reality, maybe I can choose this alternative that's really awesome. And then the next one is, even though I have this current reality that's a bummer, I can choose this, whatever the positive is. And then the final round, the 4th round, is, even though I have this, I choose to have this. Wow. So, and I found that really disarms something, because we're sort of doing an end run around that internal kind of BS meter. And when we're working on a universal, something that feels like a universal truth, like sugar's incredibly bad for me, but I choose to feel that it just fills me with joy and health, which sounds ridiculous. But, when we did this, we had people suddenly becoming a vegan that they'd been wanting to do for 10 years.
It's almost like allowed what was underneath to emerge. Yeah.
I don't actually know what it is, so that's good. I like that, because I haven't actually examined what it could be. That's a really good explanation.
And I don't know if this helps, but when we did all the years of food craving, so we're reducing crappy food choices, like all the junk foods, we never in the trials tapped on increasing interest in healthy foods. We only ever did the negative, so we're reducing. But what we found, by default was as they all dropped and all the food choices over 8 weeks, all the different junky foods, they naturally started to eat more fruit and veg without us ever tapping on it. And it happened with the teenagers in the school trial too. So we were like, it's almost like it's that underlying human need to just look after yourself and eat healthy, and you know what you truly need. And it emerged. So we never kind of wrote about it, but we saw it happen. And everyone's like, I just want to eat cauliflower and salad. And I don't know why. And we're like, okay.
You know what I love about that too? Would be interesting to see, because, you know, the whole intuitive eating thing, it's all about everybody being different. And so maybe the reason that there's so much conflicting advice about eating is that what's right for one person might not be right for someone else. And maybe it would be interesting to sort of see, you know, if those intuitive choices became what was right for this person or that person.
Anyway,
well,
that's what we do. Okay, all right.
Should we jump in and see if we can change your luck?
Yes. Yeah, look, everyone, I'll let Jean know what happens after.
All right, cool. All right. So help me get the words right if I because there was a lot and I didn't write it down. I'm just counting on my memory because I've been doing so much tapping. My memory is pretty good.
See?
little reference there. Okay. So even though I don't have good, even though I'm not lucky.
Even though I'm not lucky.
Because the one time I won something. It was shared with everyone without my permission.
It was shared with everyone without my permission.
Do you feel kind of triggered when I say it like that?
It's in my solar plexus.
Excellent. What if I could choose?
What if I could choose?
To find myself looking at my bank balance.
To find myself looking at my bank balance.
And seeing my $5 million Oz Lotto win.
And seeing my $5 million Oz Lotto win.
Even though I'm not lucky.
Even though I'm not lucky.
Because I won something once and it got taken away and distributed.
Because I won something once and it got taken away and distributed.
What if I could choose to see a $5 million win?
What if I could choose to see a $5 million win?
From Tuesday Oz Lotto.
From Tuesday Oz Lotto.
There in my online bank account.
There in my online bank account.
Even though I'm not lucky.
Even though I'm not lucky.
And one time when I won something. She took it away and gave it to everyone.
She took it away and gave it to everyone.
What if I could choose?
What if I could choose?
To see a $5 million win.
To see a $5 million win.
In my online bank account.
In my online bank account.
Top of the head. I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
I won something once.
I won something once.
And she gave it away without my permission.
She gave it away without my permission.
I won something once.
I won something once.
And she took it away and gave it away.
Took it away and gave it away.
I won something once, but I didn't get to enjoy it.
I won something once, but I didn't get to enjoy it.
I'm so unlucky.
I'm so unlucky.
I won something once and I didn't get to enjoy it.
I won something once and I didn't get to enjoy it.
But what if I could choose to win $5 million in Lotto?
But what if I could choose to win $5 million in Lotto?
What if I could choose to see a $5 million win in my online bank account?
What if I could choose to see a $5 million win in my online bank account?
What if I could choose to see those numbers there in my online bank account?
What if I could choose to see those numbers there in my online bank account?
What if I could choose to see that I had won $5 million?
What if I could choose to see I had won $5 million?
What if I could choose to see that $5 million in my bank?
What if I could choose to see that $5 million in my bank?
What if I could choose to see that I had won Tuesday Oz Lotto?
What if I could choose to see that I had won Tuesday Oz Lotto?
What if I could choose to see that I had won something that big?
What if I could choose to see that I had won something that big?
What if I could choose to see that I had won $5 million in Oz Lotto?
What if I could choose to see that I had won $5 million in Oz Lotto?
I'm not lucky. I don't win anything.
I'm not lucky. I don't win anything.
What if I could choose to win $5 million in Oz Lotto?
What if I could choose to win $5 million in Oz Lotto?
I'm not lucky. I had something taken away when I won it once.
I'm not lucky. I had something taken away when I won it once.
What if I could choose to see a $5 million lotto win in my bank account?
What if I could choose to see a $5 million lotto win in my bank account?
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
I won something once.
I won something once.
And it was taken away from me without my permission.
It was taken away from me without my permission.
What if I could choose to win $5 million in Oz Lotto?
What if I could choose to win $5 million in Oz Lotto?
I'd feel relief and joy.
I'd feel relief and joy.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
Except that one time.
Except that one time.
Then it got taken away.
And it got taken away.
What if I could choose to win $5 million?
What if I could choose to win $5 million?
I feel so joyful and so relieved
I feel so joyful and so relieved
to see that amount in my online bank account.
to see that amount in my online bank account.
Okay, and stop and take a nice deep breath. And then what you do is you just keep doing that. And how much time have we got? Do we have time for one more round?
One more round, yes.
One more round. Here we
Yes.
go.
Yep.
And we'll jump to the choose.
Okay.
And if you really want to win that lotto, you're going to have to do those two in between sets yourself on your own.
I can
Okay.
do that. Okay.
Even though I'm not lucky,
Even though I'm not lucky,
I choose to win a $5 million lotto.
I choose to win a $5 million lotto.
Even though I'm not lucky,
Even though I'm not lucky,
I choose to win a $5 million lotto and see it in my online account.
I choose to win a $5 million lotto and see it in my online bank account.
Even though I'm not lucky, when I win things, they get taken away.
Even though I'm not lucky, when I win things, they get taken away.
I choose to win Tuesday Oz Lotto and have $5 million in my bank account.
I choose to win Tuesday Oz Lotto and have $5 million in my bank account.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
When I win things, they get taken away.
When I win things, they get taken away.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
No one in my family is really lucky.
No one in my family is really lucky.
And it got taken away the one time I won something.
It got taken away the one time I won something.
None of us are really lucky.
None of us are really lucky.
I choose to win $5 million.
I choose to win $5 million.
I choose to win Oz Lotto.
I choose to win Oz Lotto.
I choose to see that amount in my bank account.
I choose to see that amount in my bank account.
I choose to feel joyful and relieved.
I choose to feel joyful and relieved.
I choose to win $5 million.
I choose to win $5 million.
I choose to see it in my bank account.
I choose to see it in my bank account.
I choose to win $5 million.
I choose to win $5 million.
$5 million in Oz Lotto for me.
$5 million in Oz Lotto for me.
But I'm not lucky.
But I'm not lucky.
But I choose to win $5 million.
But I choose to win $5 million.
My family's not lucky.
My family's not lucky.
But I choose to be relieved that I am.
But I choose to be relieved that I am.
I'm not lucky.
I'm not lucky.
But I choose to be lucky enough to win $5 million.
But I choose to be lucky enough to win $5 million.
I'm not lucky and my family's not lucky.
I'm not lucky and my family's not lucky.
But I choose to change that luck by winning $5 million in Oz Lotto.
But I choose to change that luck by winning $5 million in Oz Lotto.
Big deep breath. And you do that.
I feel quite light. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
Well, and not as light as you'd feel if you won $5 million in Oz Lotto. But yeah, that's what you. And I just say to people, experiment with it.
Yeah.
And I've got instructions for how to do that, so that kind of lays it out and has a
Amazing.
step by step. But yeah,
Amazing.
So.
Wow. Anyone listening out there, I hope that they thoroughly enjoyed and perhaps played along and did your own. So it's really nice to kind of see how that can feel and that experience. But any chance on your website that process is written out that maybe we can get a hold of?
Yeah, I think it's a giveaway for this.
Ah, fabulous. Look at that. So Gene might kind of bring that in when he comes back. So it's part of the giveaway package that you'll actually get that from Naomi. See, that's even better. So obviously, if you feel called to help donate, do the good change work, do it there first, then you'll get your change work. Any other last minute stories or anything you want to share about where this is? I think that food I've always been curious about the whole notion that the way you think about it would have to affect metabolizing of food. And that was well before my EFT journey, but it was always like people tell themselves, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, but I'm still eating it. So, but any other last stories or tips that you want to share with us?
Well, just that doing it every day, I think, is important. But and don't do it for more than about 15 minutes a day. I will tell one thing. I had a client who I gave this to, went away and did it, and then she came back to do some tapping with me, and she had an amazing story. She had lost 30 pounds by doing this every day for a year.
Wow.
And she said she stopped doing it because she lost all the weight and it was staying off, and she thought, I'm fixed, and she stopped doing it. And then she started to gain the weight back again. So I'm only being transparent because this is what happened. And there was obviously other things she could have tapped on. So, and which we did kind of work on as well, kind of going to the deeper roots under things. So there is always still, this isn't a substitute. And Pat Carrington always said with choices tapping, you do it when everything else is collapsed and done, to kind of now reach for a goal. It's not meant to be a substitute for proper tapping where you go to the roots of things. But what I found in the people in this little kind of mini research thing we did was that it brought things to the surface that were tappable quite often with people, that helped them kind of get underneath. So you can kind of use it both ways, but more research to be done.
Look, and stay tuned, everyone. We might even cook up a research trial and put it online for you.
You heard it here first.
So true. That was brilliant. Thank you, Naomi. It was just so nice to, I always like to be the client and have that done on me. So it's great. And I hope everyone kind of got some good tips there just about, Pat's work has its gold as far as the EFT world goes. But even to use it to see what else might be in here. I knew that memory, but that memory probably would have come up had I just started. So finding it as an investigation tool as well. That's brilliant. Naomi, thank you for joining me on a Saturday afternoon. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
My absolute pleasure. So lovely talking to you.
Fabulous. Thanks, Naomi.
If you found this interview inspiring, I would encourage you to support the Peaceful Heart Network by going to 24hoursoftapping.com/support or clicking the link in the description. And you will see on the screen right now a playlist to all of the interviews from this year's and last year's 24 Hours of Tapping. I hope you enjoy those as well.